credit to Texas. They played a really good game. They played to the way they wanted to play, and we didn't do anything to stop it the first half. They asserted their style of play on us, and we reacted to it instead of dictating how we wanted to play the game, and that's what we allowed to have happen. Reality is that we needed to win the rebound battle, the turnover battle, and we won neither. And the difference of those from our offensive rebounds and turnovers was 12 points. They had 34, and we had 22. And bottom line is, and we lost by 11. It's a really simple. They are a really simple team, but they're incredibly disciplined and tough. And their style beat our style, and ultimately that's my job as the head coach, is to help us respond, let this pain help us change some behaviors. And I was really honest with them. There's some things that we've been talking about that we haven't gotten enough change, and maybe this will get us to change some things that led to this. I have total confidence in the leadership of this group, their desire to respond, their coachability, but they were the tougher, more together team today. And we talked about a lot as a team is that we have to be able to execute together, and we have to be an elite defensive and rebounding team. We didn't do those three things, we lost. So we gotta do them better.
Questions here? Gianna, Coach mentioned in terms of some things that you haven't been doing and that she brought up. It seems similar to the North Carolina game, in that North Carolina came out, sort of controlled, dictated the pace, took y'all out of your game. Is that something that's been talked about? Obviously it took a little bit longer tonight to get in the rhythm and play catch up and make it a game, but is that something that's been discussed?
Yeah, I think we're a very veteran team, like most people know, so we know what it takes. Like Coach said, our discipline just hasn't been consistent of starting out strong, and so I think we lost, but we have the opportunity to learn from this, and we don't like this feeling of losing, so I think we're gonna make a change.
Kiki, you and I talked a couple weeks ago about taking over moments, not games, and your moment came in the fourth quarter. Did you know, could you feel, could you sense at some point, Vic, coach of Texas, had said we knew they were gonna make a run. Could you feel it coming?
Yeah, I think it was all just about like team momentum and energy. I really liked how we kind of came out at the end of the third quarter, fourth quarter with our pressure, the way we were defending them. I thought we saw that shift, and that created opportunities for us. In the end of the game, we had some of our best execution, our best screening. We executed what we talked about, and it's just a battle path when we do that for 40 minutes, especially at the start of the game. We don't want to get closer. We don't want to get out of our style of play. So it's just bringing that consistency across all 40 minutes.
Hey Gianna, yeah, you were kind of the catalyst for that big comeback in the third and the fourth quarter. What good can you take from that performance that you had, that they were kind of unable to stop you and you came back in that second half?
Yeah, I think the good we can take out of it is the fact that there was some fight. I think we were down 15 or something, and we got it to 4 to a really good team. So I think the good is that we know what it takes, and we saw what it takes, and the results that come from playing hard defense, rebounding, crashing. So that's the good we can take out of it, is we can learn.
Coach, this is obviously a great opportunity to play some real good teams. You've already played some really good teams. How do you kind of temper the pace of a season when you have games of this magnitude, but the bigger prize is obviously still a long way away?
Yeah. Do you want me to go? Is there any other questions for the student athletes? I'm messing up the order here. You guys can go if they don't. Go ahead. Thank you guys. Yeah, Charlie, I think that the bottom line for us is that, we have to maintain a growth mindset. And the hardest part when you have and maybe it'll work to our benefit. Maybe I can get away, I don't know, but you want to get out there and practice right after something like that and go, see, this is what we're talking about. Let's get after this and learn what we need to learn. I honestly, as a competitor, I'm just so pissed off that we didn't compete better, As a long-term developer of what we need to become in March, I think being undefeated for a long period of time in the past couple of years did not serve us well. I think there's sometimes some things we've been saying some things over and over again, that all of a sudden now their ears are gonna be a little bit bigger, and, you know, hearts are a little bit softer and willing to make some changes on some things we haven't had the discipline to change yet. And we got caught. And I think if you look back at national champions over the last several years, a lot of them have some games like this that, you know, I think just recently about UConn and the Tennessee game. I remember seeing that and going, and then look at how they respond. But response is a choice, and discipline is a skill and a choice that you have to let it teach your heart and change behaviors. And so, you know, I'm very confident in this group that they will respond in a really healthy way, and that's my job, as in our coaching staff's job, is to put them in environments and situations that they have to do that. And you know, and I said their choice is going to be, they can either sulk about this and make excuses about this, or they can look back on it and go, oh, that's when we got really serious. That's when we understood at a different level, and we created championship habits the rest of the way through.
We talked earlier in the summer, and you mentioned that Gianna could be like the missing puzzle piece for you guys. Tonight she, you know, brought her in obviously because she can shoot the ball really well, but tonight she also defended really well in the second half. She made a lot of plays. Is she a player that you feel like can spark you guys kind of going forward?
I mean, Gianna's a great player. I mean, she's not people, obviously she helps us a lot from a shooting perspective and spreading the floor out. But what I loved about what she did is when she got serious about defense in the second half, and I still think there's a lot more growth in her in that area, that I think she can be much more consistent in that. And I would say that if she was sitting right here, and you know, and I think she's a playmaker for us. We don't see her as a shooter. Like, we wanted to put her in ball screen action, and we really wanted to force their fives to have to recover on that. The first half, we kept rejecting the ball screen, and we didn't get Gianna in that mix enough. And so we talked about trying to initiate, especially when they matched up with their 4 on her. We wanted to create handoffs and get her up and try to exploit that mismatch. And you know, we didn't handle their pressure the way that we needed to in order to be able to manipulate some of those matchups and put Gianna in some of those playmaking positions. But hopefully that's exactly what we'll learn from this. But Gianna is so much more than a shooter. And you know, we rely on her, and we need her to step up in some big ways too, just like Kiki and Charlize. I really came right at those 3, Charlize Ledger-Walker and Kiki and Gianna. Our guard play that way has to be rock solid, and their work ethic is not in question. They're phenomenal, best I've been around. Their desire and team orientation, amazing. But we got out-toughed and out-led in the first 4 minutes, and I need to work directly with them. And the guard play determines things in these games, and they, I know, are going to respond at a new level.
Coach Tyler DeLuca with No Cap Space. Vic had mentioned, obviously Texas has a very unique defensive challenge, just with the way that they play on that side of the ball. But he talked about how their post defense starts 30 feet out with the pressure that they put on the perimeter.
Oh, he's right.
And for you, when you look at on that side for you guys and trying to get Lauren involved, but battling through that type of pressure that teams could potentially put on, where do you kind of see how you can grow in that lane?
Yeah, I think there's 2 things. We really wanted to attack more through the middle of the floor, and we ended up bringing her high and then attacking with the guards off the bounce, but that's because we were doing such a poor job getting her post touches. You know, I will be much more objective after I watch the film, but the first 2 plays of the game, she was shoved off the lane, 6 feet, and there was no call. And that set a tone of what kind of touches we were going to be able to get with her. And so I do think there needs to be consistency in that. That there can't be physicality allowed in some areas and not in others, because we needed to, and we needed to be able to get her touches in certain ways. The part I need to take responsibility for is she's got to do a better job of getting people behind her and not letting them get to the full front and 3/4 around, but I've got to do a better job of getting that flash cut earlier. We got to create catches to be able to take advantage of that high-low, or we've got to be able to attack the space off the bounce that they're not rotating to help on. And we kept throwing really long passes out of that, and that didn't work out so well. And so we just got to learn from those things. And ultimately, that's my job, is to help our team put structurally and tactically in some better positions to take advantage of that. And it's their job to really execute what we're asking them to do. And so it's a both and you know, obviously I'm ultimately responsible. We didn't play to the level of toughness and togetherness that we needed to win this game. And so ultimately it's my job to help them change it. But I agree that the bottom line is not Lauren there, it's their defense forcing us to have such hard reads, and credit to them. They played the way they wanted to play and we didn't respond enough.
Coach, what positives can you take about the way the team responded again?
Sure.
Being down 20
Yeah.
at half, it's just hard to come back from 20
Yeah.
against a team like that. Is there something that you could take from the way that the team came back?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I think whenever you have those moments where you can fold and give up, or you can just fight and claw the best you can. We talked about in a couple of our other games that of top 10 or 11 level opponents that we felt like we got them to quit after we just kept coming at them, and we had a choice to make. We were down, and we were not playing the way we had wanted or prepared. We were frustrated, and they chose, I thought at halftime did a really good job. We talk a lot about getting to neutral. We were not neutral in any timeout. They were looking right past me on this, and so I thought they did a great job in the second half going, okay, let's get to neutral so that we can make the next right step and fight and claw. And we got it, we got it to 4 and had a chance to cut it to 1 on a good execution play out of bounds for Gianna. I'm not mad about that. I'm proud of them for that. So I think there's a lot to be said about how you chose to respond. And we got punched in the gut, and it took us a long time, but I think the positive is I think they got a taste, and they know they can do it. They know they can respond, and we'll build off of that.
Cori, 2 quick ones for you.
Sure.
First one, is Lauren okay? I know she came back in the game.
Yeah, I don't know yet. I haven't had a chance to talk to the docs yet. So we'll go from there. But
Second one, away from the game, there's a proposal on the table for, in terms of the transfer portal, men's and women's basketball both, it'd be shortened to 15 days, and it would not open until after the Final Fours. If I could just get your thoughts on that.
yeah, actually, I'm for that for a lot of reasons. But I do think I always want to have a global mindset about being concerned about how it affects our entire game. But I just think it's really poor business to have there's a couple levels. One, if you have a transfer portal that's open during the NCAA tournament, you are going to force administrations to make rush decisions on coaching carousel decisions. And they are going to, because everyone's going to try to have their coach hired by the time that the portal opens, right? So there's a lot of people that are going to rush through that, and it's just going to increase the amount of tampering that's going to be encouraged to take place during the most important time that we want to showcase the best of the best in our game. So there's that. Secondly, I think that the reality is in our coaching profession, like the Final Four and the convention, is a time where we're encouraged to grow. And I've been doing this 33 years, and 32 of them I've been at that convention. And I've been a part of that group that's trying to grow the game and trying to learn. And what happened last year with the portal open is the whole convention, they were all in their hotel rooms on Zoom calls with transfer kids. And we're not in a most important part where we want to be together and growing our game at a global level. I think it's a mistake to take away from something. If you were to think about businesses and their time when that business needs to be at their best, you have a lot of people excited about Black Friday, right? And they got to be at their best when the best is needed. To have that level of distraction, I think, is a complete mistake for growing our game. And so I think it's really important that we make that change. And I think obviously I have a lot of transfers on my team. I've been on both sides of the fence in terms of having people transfer out and people transfer in. I'm not critical of people, and that everyone's story is different, and there's some really good reasons. But if we truly want to build on the momentum of our game, to have it where it's been in the past, in the middle of our most important time, is I think hampering the growth of our game.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Coach.